Good afternoon, all, as you're joining.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And,
Good afternoon.
And Chair Derso Ledger, just know Miss Oliver is going to be about 20 minutes late, but she is joining, and Miss Brody a little bit, like 5 minutes late. But we do have a full agenda. So I don't know if you want to get started or if you want to give. Bejo is planning to join as well. Let me text her.
We can wait like 2 more minutes and then get started at 4.
Okay, you're cutting out just a little, but I heard you.
Okay, I guess we'll get started. So
We do have Miss Brody.
good afternoon. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francoise Derso Ledger, and I am the chair of the Teaching and Learning Committee for the Hartford Board of Education. And this is our meeting, and I'm going to popcorn it off to, different individuals. We can popcorn it so we can introduce ourselves and our roles. So I will popcorn it off to Allison Ward.
Hi, I'm Allison Ward, the Director of Special Education. I will send it on over to Tracy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Avicoli. I'm the Director of Arts and Wellness. I'll send it to Heidi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heidi Schmidt. I'm the Assistant Director of Athletics for Hartford Public Schools, and I will send it over to Bethany.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bethany Silver, Chief Performance Officer, and I will send this to Hannah Kay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Kieser, and I am a Special Projects Manager for Hartford Public Schools. I will pass it to Dr. Curtis.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Curtis, and I am the Chief of Talent, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, and I will pass it to Dr. Negron.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Madeline Negron, Acting Deputy Superintendent of Academics and School Leadership, and I am going to pass it over to Ms. Brody.
Good afternoon, Shantae Brody, board member. I'm sorry I was not keeping track of who went and who did not.
Then I'll choose Miss Lisa O'Neill.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa O'Neill. I am Regional Manager with ESS, and I'm going to popcorn it over to Nui Tran.
Hi, everyone. For some weird reason, my camera's not working. But my name is Nui Tran, Director of Business Development on the ESS education side. So Lisa and I work together, and I'm going to pass it over to Brian. I did see him before, and then he went away.
Well,
sorry about that. Brian Engel, sorry, Nui. Brian Engel, Vice President Operations with ESS. Happy to join the call here, and I'm going to pass it over to Andy Hall.
Thanks, Brian. Andy Hall, Executive Vice President. Sorry, I literally just got out of the car grabbing my computer. So thank you, everybody, for having us. And any questions you guys have, let us know.
Maybe we can pass it to Natalie. Yes, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie Javier, talent recruiter with Harvard Public Schools.
And lastly, we can pass it over to Jen Hoffman.
Hi, everyone. Jen Hoffman, Assistant Superintendent for Special Education and Pupil Services. I don't think Charisse introduced herself, though. So pass to Charisse.
Thanks, Jen. Charisse Eiffel, Special Projects Manager with Hartford Public School. I think that's everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Christina, can we please have the agenda?
Yep, so let me share, and I think you got my note about taking it out of order as I go to share. So we do have several items for the regular meeting, the ESS contract, as well as the SPED contracts. We also have a presentation on enrichment, which includes athletics, as well as a unified arts and wellness. So the ask was that we actually break that apart and start with athletics, as our athletic director, Ms. Heidi Schmidt, has to go off to a game doing her job in senior night, I believe. So do you want me to kick it off to Ms.
Get started with that.
Yeah. Okay, so I will start screen sharing. Heidi, just let me know when to.
Yeah, great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for letting me jump ahead here. We have some state volleyball games going on and senior awards tonight. So it's going to be very helpful. So I appreciate it. This is awesome for me. I love this opportunity to be able to brag a little bit about what our student athletes are doing with athletics through our 6 through 12 programs. So I put together a little bit of a slide here with the help of Hannah. Thank you so much to kind of give you guys an insight of what's going on. And at the end, you'll have an opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have. So the objectives are just an overall of all the athletic programming that we have, share some of the challenges and opportunities for moving forward. And like I said, we'll be open for some questions. Okay, you can go to the next. So on this slide, I just broke down the numbers for you so you know how many participants we've had for this school year. So this fall, we had 761 high school students participate in sports across the district at the high school level and 533 across the middle school level. And you can see we did the same for the winter and the spring, 606 high school students in the winter, 479 students for middle school. The winter is a little less because there's less sports that are offered in the winter seasons as opposed to the fall and the spring. In this past spring, we've had 694 student athletes participate in the high school and 443 students in the middle school, which is an improvement and which is more students from last year. So what I did is we broke them down by sports. I asked some of the schools to send me some pictures so you can actually visualize our student athletes out there and seeing them come together as teams. Football this year, we had 17 teams across the district, which include 4 of our football teams in the high school. All of our 8 high schools are represented in the 4 football teams. We have 3 co-ops, and then we had 13 co-ed flag football teams this past spring. We just had our championships at Annie Fisher Field on Thursday evening. MLK came out as our champions for middle school. Some achievements that we have here. I'm not going to read through them all, but I'll just highlight a few of them. The SMSA co-op, which also shares with Buckley University Classical and HMTCA. They went undefeated this year and went 10-0 for the first time in their career. There were 2 state tournament appearances with SMSA and Hartford High, both appearing in the state tournament. We had 2 all-state students named through the different schools, and Danny Hernandez, one of the SMSA players, was named the Walter Camp Award winner, and he was also a nominee finalist for the Gatorade Player of the Year. So those were some really great things that happened in our football season this year. Got it, next one. Soccer, we had 24 teams. We had 7 high school boys teams, 8 high school girls teams, and 9 middle school teams, which were primarily co-op. 6 state tournament appearances, 3 league championships. We had 3 all-state athletes. 16 players amongst all the schools were named as all conference for their individual leagues. And we had 1 outstanding sportsmanship Class S award, as well as 1 CIAC sportsmanship award. We also were able to host our middle school tournament at the end of the season at the Hartford Athletics Field, which was really exciting under the lights. And you can actually, and MLK won that one as well. You can see MLK's picture up on the top on the field under the lights. And then go ahead. And then cross country, we have 14 teams across the district, 7 high school teams and 7 middle school co-ed teams. We had 1 state tournament appearance, 1 championship appearance for their league, and 7 players named to their all league conferences. And we held a middle school championship this year at Colt Park. And to round up our fall, we had, and a little bit of spring, because we combined middle school boys and girls together under volleyball. So the girls participate in the spring, and I mean the fall, and the boys participate in the spring. This year, we kicked it off with our very first boys middle school team for volleyball. And we also added 2 new high school teams for boys volleyball. HMTCA and Capital joined the SMSA Buckley co-op for boys volleyball this year. And right now, the SMSA boys are playing in a state tournament game. There are 8 high school teams, 6 state tournament appearances with the girls teams, 2 championship appearances with the leagues, and we've had 8 all-league players and 1 all-state player. So very successful volleyball season. Jumping into the winter, probably our busiest season ever is for basketball. We had 41 teams across the district participate in basketball. All 8 high schools have boys and girls teams. All 17 middle schools had boys teams. 16 of the 17 middle schools had girls teams. And this year I was able to get the Naismith Hall of Fame to host the finals for the middle school championships. We also had 2 athletes join the 1,000 Point Club, a young lady from classical and a young man from classical as well. So we had 2 join the 1,000 Club this year. 6 state tournament appearances, 5 championship appearances. SMSA basketball had a 3-peat championship league championship, 3 in a row. 2 players named All-State. We had 9 players named All-League. We had 2 holiday tournament champions. SMSA won the holiday championship for boys and girls, and there was an invitation for MLK and Milner to go to the state middle school tournament this year, which they represented us very well. So it was a very exciting winter season. Baseball and softball for the spring. Right now, they're just wrapping up. We had 8 teams across the district for baseball, 6 high school teams, 2 middle school teams. We had 4 state tournament appearances. We had a league championship. For Girls University, 5 players were named all league, all state not yet released, but we are hopeful for 1 pitcher for the boys team to make all state. Softball across the district, we have 8 high school teams, 3 middle school teams, and 3 team tournament appearances. University is actually playing today in the 2nd round of the tournament against Plainfield. So we're hoping to continue to keep going there. Track and field, we have indoor and outdoor track. We had 8 boys and girls indoor and outdoor track teams for the high schools. We have 6 middle school co-ed indoor and outdoor teams. We have 2 state tournament appearances, 2 championship appearances, 7 players named all league. Currently, we have 3 schools right now where we have athletes that qualify for nationals. So they're going to be heading to Pennsylvania soon for nationals. And the state tournament is happening right now as we speak for outdoor track. So we already have some kids that qualified for opens next week. If they win opens, then they will make it to New England, which is in Bangkok, I can't even get out right, Bangkok, Maine this year. So we still got a lot happening in track, and so hopefully we'll be able to share more information with that as we continue to succeed. Swimming, we have 4 teams across the district with swimming. We have 1 girls team and 2 boys team, and we do quite a few co-ops. So different schools are embedded into the different programs. So everybody has an opportunity to swim if they want to, even if their school does not have it. We had 2 state tournament appearances this year with 2 championship appearances and 7 players named to all leagues. So we had a really successful swimming season as well. Cheerleading, 9 teams across the district that continue to go out and cheer for all of our basketball and football programs. And one of our big state championships this year was esports. University High was the state championships this year for esports. And we are actually going to start rolling esports out into all of the schools. And I believe it's going to be, many of them are going to start in the 6th grade. So we're going to have esports rolling out between 6th and 12th grade. And then we have a couple of videos. Some MLK girls.
This is Mr. Howard, the athletic support coordinator for Martin Luther King Social Justice Middle School's athletic program. And I have with me this morning 3 of our outstanding student athletes, and we will begin to my left, your right. Introduce yourselves and please tell us the sports that you participated in this year.
Hi, I'm Shauna, and I participated in basketball and volleyball this year. Hi, I'm Selena, and I participated in soccer, basketball, and flag football, and I got 6 touchdowns this year.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Jen. I played volleyball this year.
Okay, so Shauna, Selena, and Jay are student athletes. So what do you guys feel about middle school sports? Do you think that is beneficial? Is it helpful? To give us a little information on that, a little feedback on that.
I feel like middle school sports is beneficial because when you play sports, there's a specific regulation and rules that you have to follow, which teaches you discipline and also how to manage your grades and sports at the same time. So it's kind of like they help with previous, like anything. It doesn't really have to do with sports. It can deal with everyday life. It also teaches you how to deal with specific things.
Good.
What I think about middle school sports is that it keep kids on track. It keep kids from getting in trouble. Like how people who can't get their work down, they will like try the best, get the work up, and stay focused, try to get better, and try to be more mature for school sports. They try to get attentive for the school. So I feel like volleyball sports, like when you're like having to do nice and like you have to keep your mind up and stuff you don't want to do them. And I think it's important because in sports you have to keep like great grades. So like it's not like always playing, it's like don't be the great sports.
Okay, good. Do you guys plan on continuing to play sports? Like now you're 7th grade, 8th grade. Do you guys plan on playing next year?
Yes.
Okay. And what about throughout high school?
Yes, I would most likely play volleyball and football.
Okay.
I could play like football or either football and soccer or basketball. I'll be playing volleyball. I think I would just keep playing volleyball to high school and college.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say to the adults who may be watching this video in terms of middle school sports?
I just feel like middle school sports should get like more credit than they usually do, because like middle school sports is a part of a big step to what you feel like you're going to do in high school. Because if you start in middle school, you have a better idea of what you want to do in the future.
Okay.
And I would like to say that kids would like to try out for like any kind of sport. They would want to try to make their parents proud, make their school proud. They want to get a scholar to go to a different school, get a good high school, and like to go on farther.
All right. Dang.
I agree with them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So is there anything that you all would like to say before we close this video?
We need Coach to make us back for volleyball. Yeah.
Okay.
Just Coach that.
All right. So other than that, let's put it in. You know we're gonna do on the count of 3. Go team on 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Go team. Thank you, young ladies.
And the next one as well.
Yeah, the next one was one of our SPOs who's newer and was in working a game, and he was amazed at seeing our middle schoolers, and he wanted to comment on how the fact that he never had that opportunity, what a great opportunity it is for our student athletes. So he just kind of gave a few words on that.
All right, ready?
Yeah. It's awesome that the board is offering middle school sports to the middle schoolers, especially volleyball. It was something that I didn't get to experience when I was younger as a boy. So it's great to see boys out there playing volleyball and enjoying it. I loved it.
It was just really exciting to see his enthusiasm working the game and how excited he was for the student athletes. And what do we do this for? We want our kids going to the next level, and with sports also comes along academics. That's why we call it student athletes. So we honored 2 students from every single high school this year for the CIC Scholar Athlete Program. There's seniors from each high school who are academic leaders and have athletic careers, have been exemplary, whose personal standards and achievements are models to others. And who possess a high level of integrity, self-discipline, and courage. So I never could share this enough with people, because this is how proud we are of all of our student athletes. So on this slide, you have Buckley, Capital Prep, and Classical Magnet with their scholar athletes and what colleges they're going to be attending. And if you look here, it's amazing. We got the University of Connecticut, Central, Howard, Eastern. So we're looking forward to them succeeding as student athletes when they move forward. The next slide, we have our student athletes from HMTCA, Hartford Public, and SMSA. Again, Moore University of Connecticut. We have George Washington University, Springfield College, Trinity College, Capital Community College, and UHart. So again, it's so impressive, and we can't brag enough about these student athletes. And to round it out, we have University High and Weaver High School. Some more University of Connecticut. We have someone going all the way to the West Coast to the University of Southern California, and another Eastern Connecticut university participant. So again, we're so honored. I can never share this enough. So I hope, and they're also on our school, on the Hartford Public School website, if you wanted to go and look at it some more. Challenges and opportunities. I'm just going to kind of end it here. Funding. We just need continued and increased funding for middle school and high school. Our programs are growing. When coaches come back, you know, it costs a little bit more each year. And as we add programs, there's a domino effect. I need busing. I need officials. I need more security. So when every time you add one sport, we need to increase all of the supporting funds as well. So so far so good. We've been supported greatly, and I just hope we get the continued support. We need more qualified coaches. We keep trying to reach out for them. It's the same, you know, I mean, obviously the same issues we're having across the country with finding teachers. It's the same thing for coaches. Updating the hire process for coaching, and Dr. Curtis and I are working on that. So we are coming together, you know, as a district and doing the things that we need to do to make the processes easier, and for wanting people to come in to coach and be a part of our athletic programs. And facilities, the cost and time for facility management and upkeep. And that's just something that's ongoing year after year. And we just have to build great relationships with the city and our maintenance crews and our board of buildings and grounds and our own in school, so that we can get the facilities up to par for our student athletes, because that's what they deserve. And that's it for me. So if you got questions for me, I'm here.
Thank you so much for that presentation. That was amazing. It's great to hear the awesome work that these students are doing and their accomplishments, and you know where they're ending up, which is, you know, awesome. We're going to be taking 2 questions for now, if you know, so that we can continue to move along. Okay. So, and then afterwards, when we're done with everything, if there's time, we'll take more questions. So I do see Board Member Brody's hand up. So Board Member Brody, you have the floor.
Thanks for the presentation. A request and a question. A request is, it was on the schools reported, it was noted like that we have 5 schools, but the actual school was not listed. So are we able to get that report in that manner so we know what schools?
Yep. I have a spreadsheet with all of the schools that were there. We just don't have all the room on the slides, but I can definitely, I can definitely get that for you. Yep. Okay, so the question is, I'm not familiar with how middle school sports run, but in regards to the track and field, is there like a qualification? Is it per school, per district? Like, how does that work? Because I don't think I've seen any of our middle schools represented Saturday. Yes, actually, Belizzi was there. I didn't get it into the slides because I got all the information today. Our Belizzi did go to on Saturday, and one of our shot putters actually finished 9th in the entire program.
Okay, but how does that work for them to get
they have to qualify with certain times. There's certain times that get entered into that qualifying meet. And I met with all the coaches this year, and we're all going to next year get all the qualifying times in advance. They're going to start letting the kids know what they need to get. So, and we're going to try to hold an additional meet too, so they have an additional meet to meet those standards.
Thank you, because schools were well represented all over the state.
Yeah, but, and a lot of them do them from their own clubs and through their own PE classes. There's not too many middle school actual track teams that are out there that are associated with just the school.
I think there are. I've seen quite a few. Okay. With the school's names, but
with the school's names, they do have those 2 phys ed classes.
With some support of the town.
Yeah, the town or their phys ed classes, but we're going to try to incorporate that into our program like we do the high schools, so that our kids can get the times in advance. We can get them what they need to do and get them the meets that they need so they can get the qualifying times. So it's in our long-term goals here. So we're getting there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brody. And I have a question with regards to the esports. Yep. Can you just touch upon, elaborate a little bit about how that's going to look?
So I know a lot of it is getting incorporated through the schools. Dr. Ali has been a big proponent behind this with getting them into the schools. And then once we get the programs up and running in all of the schools, then we're going to start shifting them over to the after school part of esports, like university is doing right now, where it's run like similar. It's a club, but it's similar to how we run our sports. It's still brand new. University is the only one that has actually done it yet. So we're still in the infantry stages, and we're still learning how we're going to roll this out completely across the district.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and Christina,
yes.
Can you please bring up the agenda again?
Next on the agenda, actually, we're going to move forward with Dr. Curtis and her team on the ESS contract, which is a different ESS, but I'll let her explain.
Hi, we are so excited to present to you today. I am going to ask my team member, Natalie Javier, to present to you because she has done so much work to get this deck and this contract ready. And we do have the partner here to answer any questions. And I believe there will be some questions and we're ready for them, but I just want to put before you this contract that OTM, I believe, along with my team, will help us better position ourselves to open the school year with an adult in every single classroom. Last year, you may remember that we opened 96 folks short in classrooms, and we're trying to avoid that this year. So this is one of the strategies that we want to put before you and get passed so that we could lift this strategy right away, so we'll be better positioned to begin the school year. With that, I'm going to invite Natalie in to kick us off.
Hello, everyone. All right, you can move to the next slide. Okay, so the Office of Talent Management's goal is to have ESS supplement our current efforts by recruiting, hiring, and training up to 80 special education paraeducators and up to 100 substitute teachers in an initial one-year contract for the 23-24 school year. You can see the numbers above. Next slide. You can change the slide. Okay, thanks. In addition to the teacher shortage that Hartford Public Schools is facing, we're also experiencing a shortage of support staff, specifically special education paraeducators and substitute teachers. Over the last year, we have had an average of 79 special education paraeducator vacancies per month throughout the district, and the substitute teacher fill rate for the same time period averages 14.7%. These roles are essential to the success of our students, preparing classroom activities, working with students individually and in small groups, supporting individualized program for students with disabilities, managing classroom behavior, and engaging with parents and communities. ESS is the nation's leading provider of full service substitute personnel and management solutions to K-12 school districts, and has had 7 successful years in Connecticut, serving districts like Bristol, Waterbury, and Manchester by fully managing their substitute programs and providing local management team for daily oversight and accountability. Next slide. In alignment with Priority 4, OTM is seeking an approval of a 1-year contract with ESS to identify, recruit, screen, train, hire, place, retain, and manage substitute teachers and special education paraeducators for the coming school year. You can, next slide. The shortage of teachers, substitute teachers, and paraeducators is a national issue. Even before COVID, the U.S. faced a critical shortage of substitutes, with 1 in 5 classes with absent teachers unfilled. 95% of the district's leaders reported that the pandemic caused a shortage of substitute teachers for their districts. Now, on average, 8% of the teachers are absent daily nationwide, and there are currently 53,164 active educational paraeducator job openings based on the U.S. current job postings. As of March, school districts in Connecticut reported around 1,300 teacher vacancies and another 1,300 paraeducator vacancies, with 73% of those being in special education. Over the last couple of years, the district has developed creative strategies to increase the number of candidates for substitute teachers and paraeducator roles, such as increasing the substitute teacher rates via MOU, adding a continuity bonus of $250 for every 30 consecutive days worked as a substitute teacher, allowing the para pro assessment in lieu of an associate's degree for paras, along with our own Grow Your Own initiatives, our Represent campaign, our Adams and Night marketing materials, in-person open houses, virtual info sessions, community outreach, and call to actions to parents, families, and volunteers, as well as community-based organizations and partnerships with higher education institutions. And despite these measures, the substitute teacher daily fill rate is less than 15% throughout the district, and we average around 79 special education paraeducator vacancies each month. Next slide. Under the proposed contract, ESS will provide a customized plan to recruit up to 80 special education paraeducators and 100 substitute teachers for the start of the 23-24 school year through a comprehensive screening and credentialing process. They'll provide customized in-person and virtual training focused on student and staff safety, student achievement, classroom management, and HPS-specific district needs that all candidates must pass before hire. They'll provide incident and retention support through daily engagement and learning opportunities, streamline integration with our current frontline system, and analytic data sharing. They'll provide local, regional, and corporate support teams specific to HBS, providing daily communication and accountability to each principal, supervisor, and executive assistants, as well as daily engagement and support to paraeducators and substitute teachers. Next. You can change the slide. Okay, thanks. OTM has identified a cohort of 10 schools to pilot the placement of the paraeducators. The ESS substitute teachers. The schools identified in the cohort have a combination of 2 or more of the following: a low number of certified teacher fill rates, a high number of vacancies, a high percentage of teacher absences, and either tier 4 or tier 5 school status. And based on the current data, we will need 36 subs at these 10 schools for the start of the school year. And the special education paraeducators will be placed district-wide to support all of our students. The district will provide ESS with office space at the Board of Ed or in one of our district buildings. And they'll name someone the ESS liaison to work with the ESS representative to provide clear communication to school staff and administrators, provide specific needs of each school and classrooms, assist in navigating local community organization and events, and attend scheduled meetings to discuss program progress and needs. They will also support the transition of the substitute teachers and special education paraeducators through successful completion of their first 90 days. By engaging ESS to supplement our substitute teacher and special education paraeducator hiring, HPS can create a pipeline of substitute teachers and special education paraeducators who we can then cultivate into certified teachers with our Grow Your Own initiatives. Next. The proposed contract will provide transparent pricing, matching our current HPS paraeducator and substitute teacher daily rates with the 31% fee that's inclusive of recruiting, screening, background checks and credential checks, hiring and onboarding, orientation and training, retention and continued support, frontline integration, and data analytics. The proposed initial 1-year contract will start on July 1st, 2023 and go through the end of the 23-24 school year, ending on June 30th, 2024. Next slide. OTM will assess and monitor the progress of the proposed ESS contract by collecting data to determine fill rates for the substitute teachers in the cohort of 10 schools and the fill rates for compliance required special education paraeducators across the district's 39 schools for the 23-24 school year. By engaging ESS to supplement our substitute special education paraeducator hiring, HPS can increase the pool of candidates in the Hartford area and create a pipeline of substitute teachers and sped paras to cultivate and grow your own here in the district. And that's it. Short and sweet. Thank you for your time this evening. If you have any questions, I have the ESS team and leadership to speak on anything that you may have questions with.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Very exciting. I do have a question with regards to your recruiting methods. Are you going to be mindful, or are you mindful of recruiting Black and Brown substitute teachers and teachers, pretty much substitute teachers who look like the students that they are going to be teaching? And what exactly can you tell me that you're doing to do that?
Thank you so much for that question, because when we met with ESS, I have to be honest, that was one of our primary questions, particularly like if we're going to pay a surcharge on the amount that we pay for a daily sub, we definitely want to be able to capitalize on diversifying our talent pool, right? And so what's unique about this partnership is that this organization will have a concentration right here in Hartford and in our surrounding area. So the entire goal is to have a high concentration in the area that our schools are located, so that the pool of people they are pulling from actually are from the community and better reflect the students that are in our schools. So thank you for that question, because that was very important to us.
Thank you so much. I am looking to see if there are any hands that are up, and I don't see any. So, there's There's Ms. Brody. Ms. Brody, you have the floor.
Yes, that was a lot to take in. I'm quite sure I'll have more questions at the board meeting. But one thing that was specific, we were specific in numbers when we were describing what is happening all over the United States. And I think sometimes I don't know why we do it. I can't answer for that. But what I'm more concerned about and what I know parents are more concerned about is what's the numbers as it pertains to Hartford Public Schools. So we quoted how many shortages in this area with specific numbers, but when we came to talking about Hartford, we did not. And that sometimes, I don't know why that happens either, because we should be in these presentations being as specific as possible so we could better learn what we have, what we don't, what we've done in numbers and not just in a paragraph. So from what was presented tonight, I guess I'll have my questions for the board meeting.
I can share and I can direct you to slide number 9. So if you have the opportunity to go back and look at the slide deck as you're forming your questions, I'm going to be speaking to you from slide number 8 and 9 right now. One of the things that we did, instead of trying to go broadly across the entire district, we only identified 10 schools. And these are the 10 schools that we believe are definitely going to have openings, classroom teacher vacancies at the beginning of the school year. And then we looked at the data across the years to see which school had the highest rate of absenteeism of teachers across the year. So that's how we came up with this cohort of 10 schools, because what we said is we want to target the schools that need the most as soon as possible. And so when we looked back at this time last year, how many hires we had, applicants, vacancies, and everything, and given the 10 schools we have in this cohort, this is what we believe to be true. We believe that we're going to have a need for 36 substitute teachers across these 10 schools at the very beginning of the school year. So even though we're saying we're doing everything possible to recruit qualified teachers, to staff our classrooms with certified teachers, we still have a belief in these 10 schools, we're going to need 36 teachers. So what we're trying to do is get in front of that right now to say, if we could staff these 36 classrooms with subs, but then understanding that in this contract, our goal is to have folks only be in that designation for 90 days, because within the first 90 days of coming through the ESS program into Hartford, our goal is to transition them into a Hartford Public School employee in the first 90 days, well, after the first 90 days. And so what that would look like is that then we would get our hands on more long-term subs in the district.
So what is ESS going to do? Because I heard a lot of special paraeducators, special education, and I heard substitute teachers. So is this a firm that's finding the people, and how much is this contract?
So yes, they are finding the people. They'll recruit them, they'll find them, they'll train them, they'll get them situated to work in our district. The price of the contract is 31% above what we would pay for a daily rate of a sub. So, and that's for the 90 days that we employ them through the company. What's very unique about this company, which I am very pleased with, is that after 90 days, when we convert them to a Hartford Public School employee, we do not pay a conversion rate. There's no additional cost. We don't have to give them a fee for hiring their employee. We want to contract with them really to capitalize on their ability to saturate an area and hire from within that area, which is something that we just don't have the manpower to do. So when you ask what would they do for us, they would actually assign a person to Hartford that would be in Hartford full-time going out and sourcing talent for us from our own neighborhood.
Okay, so is there a one amount, or where do I look on this slide?
Okay, on this
Like,
slide.
so will we be approving an amount at the board meeting, like that dollar amount?
So would we no, there wasn't a solid dollar amount. What we said was it could be between, based on how many positions we're trying to get. I'm sorry.
Yeah, on page 2, it has a range of like low end to high end of what it could look like.
So low end on slide 2, I don't know if you have access to the slides right now. Are the slides still up?
Yep.
Can we? So on this slide right here, the low end would be 660,000 and the top end would be over 2 million. This money though is the money that is already allocated for those positions. So if we have 100 teacher vacancies and we're trying to fill them and we cannot, and we fill them with subs, we're just using money that we have allocated for positions. And the same thing with paras. And what's very exciting about paras, we do believe that we think the conversion rate for paras will be higher because substitute teachers may be like retired teachers. They may be they may be changing their career, and so they may just want to not really work all the time, but they want to somewhere consistent. It may be a little harder to convert subs to long-term subs, although we believe we can convert them to HPS employees. For paras, we really believe that once they source the talent for paras, the whole idea is they're going out and finding the paras that they understand will be HPS employees.
Thank you. Well, I'm in my day life, I'm very, we have to do something with not having the special education paras. It's going to affect us and hurt us in way more ways than a few. Thank you thus far. I don't have any more questions.
Thank you. And can I want to comment that although we're asking for up to 80 special education paras, we don't necessarily, like, if we only get 20 or we only get 30, right? It's not like we have to pay for 80. We're only going to pay for the amount that we get. And that we're just hoping that the relationship is really solid. And if we're doing really well, we can push the threshold all the way up to 80 pairs, which would mean that we would fill all of our vacancies.
Anyone have questions for the ESS team that's on the call right now? They have their leadership team.
Natalie, this is Nui from ESS. I just want to kind of piggyback off of what Dr. Curtis said about, if you don't have to pay the 80 because that's not how it works. The district only pays us if we fill a position. So I kind of want to make that clear as well. So if you do need 80 and we get you the 80, you pay us that. But if we only get 20, 30, 40, or you need 100 and we can get you 100, that's how the program works.
Thank you so much. I have a question with regards to qualifications or the requirements. So do you need, in order to be a substitute teacher, is a bachelor's or an associate required? And with regards to being a para, what's required? What are the credentials that are required?
Yeah, I can take that one for you. So for our substitute teachers, they do meet all state credentialing. So we do require that they have a bachelor's degree. If they do have an associate's, and sorry, I have a tiny coworker with me right now. If they do have an associate's degree and they're a wonderful paraprofessional that we've been using in that substitute role, we can do an ED 174, but we follow all state credentialings. Now for paraprofessionals, it does depend on the district, depending on your title and requirements. It can require a high school diploma or equivalent, or if your district does require 60 credits or a parapro, we can source those as well. So we will follow the guidance of your school.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you again for the presentation. And we are now, for the sake of time, we're going to, if there are more questions, if we have time at the end, we will take more questions. However, if we do run out of time, then we're going to request that you, anyone who has additional questions, please send your questions to our board liaison, Christina Santiago, and she will get the questions to the right individual so that we can have our answers. So Christina, can you please pull up the next agenda item?
Yes, we have Ms. Jennifer Hoffman on the call for our special education contract renewals. And Jen, just let me know when to forward the slides. I think I'm on a little bit of a delay because I swear I'm clicking them.
Thanks, Christina. I also have Allison Ward, who is one of the special ed directors for the district with me for this presentation. So we will be talking about our contract renewals. You can go to the next slide. Tonight, we're going to talk about the steps we've taken to recruit and hire candidates. And we'll also give a background on the scope of services offered by, well, there are 4 contracts we are looking to renew: Connecticut Behavioral Health, CBS Therapy, Stepping Stone, and Soliant. And then there's 2 additional. Frontline is a bit of a continuation, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then AMN Healthcare is a new contract as well. Next slide. And I'm going to trade off with Allison.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So speech and language, as we've talked about for several years, continues to be a shortage area both in Connecticut and Hartford and nationally. The district has done some recruitment events that really focus on speech and language, special education, OT, PT, school psychologists, and paraeducators. And those events were held in March, April, and May. And then we just also heard a little bit about ESS, which was nice to hear. Thank you for that. Go to the next slide. Thank you. So our total FTE in our budget, including all of our buildings and our programs, is an FTE for 54.9. This is only a 0.3 increase from last year to this year. We currently have 26.1 FTEs that are hired by Hartford Public Schools and our Hartford Public School employees. We did have a possibility of 2 hires. Unfortunately, they both, since we put the slide deck together, have decided to stay, one in New York and one in another state. They decided not to move into Connecticut. We continue to rehire some of our retired teacher or speech and language pathologists. We have 1 definitely coming back and a possibility of 1 or 2 others. And then if we were able to approve all of our contracts that we're asking for, then we would be looking at somewhere between 28.8 and 31.8 FTEs from the different contracts, which would actually, for the first time since I think I have started, completely fill us, which would be amazing and wonderful. And we could actually stop having to account for a lot of comp time that's coming up. So just a little information about that came from ASHA, which is American School and Language Hearing Association, which is one of the top associations that speech and language pathologists join. So they say that about 39% of those who apply to a grad program actually get in. And so what does that mean in a number? Well, during the 21-22 school year, only 23,966 graduate students were actually in school for speech and language. And then it says about 53% of those people who graduate actually go into the school system. While in the 21-22 school year, only 10,185 actually graduated with a degree. Okay, I think I'm good. Go ahead, Jen.
Thanks. So these are our current positions we are looking to fill. Like Allison noted, speech and language pathologists, paraeducators, and special education teachers. And this is just a breakdown of candidates that have completed or have started a draft of an application. And then based on those vacancies, interviews that have been held or hires that have taken place. So we haven't had so much luck this year with speech and language pathologists. We've only been able to hire 2 interviews have been held. 1 decline and we're waiting on the other one, but like Allison said, is not returning. We've been able to hire 42 paraeducators. We still have 70 of the 72 vacancies. And then we've been able to hire 18 special education teachers of the 44 vacancies. Next. Oh, and just a note, all of those positions are tied to an IEP, an individualized education plan. So those are mandated hours that we have to fulfill for students. Next slide. Thank you. So these are the current contracts we have in place that we're looking to renew. Like Dr. Curtis said, with the ESS contract, these contracts are funded by the existing vacancies we have in district. So our CBS therapy is an existing contract that we are looking to fill 8.5 speech and language pathologists. Stepping Stone, again, is a continuation. We have a combination of speech and language pathologists and 40 paraeducators. This was an increase from last year because we are looking to supplement some time for, I believe, the summer. We also have Saline, which is a combination of speech language pathologists, school psychologists, and special education teachers, again, funded by vacancies. And then Connecticut Behavioral Health is a continuation. We fill BCBA, which is a board certified behavior analyst, and a registered behavior tech and RBT positions. Those are both funded through our IDEA grant. And that would be a continuation as well. Next slide. Aside from the continuations of our staffing, I think I had noted last year with our move to CT SEDS, we were using Frontline before moving to CT SEDS, where the whole state moved. We were asked to continue this contract for 1 year. Right now, we are still working on migrating student data records to CT SEDS. So the amount would cover just housing those files for 1 more year, and then we would discontinue this contract. Next slide. And then the only new contract we would look to include is AMN Healthcare, and this is again for speech language clinicians. It is funded on existing vacancies, so we will look to include that as well for next year. And I think, Christina, yep, that's it. Okay. So any questions on these contracts?
Thank you so much for that presentation. I am looking to see if any hands go up. Giving it a few seconds, and I do not see any. I don't have any questions at this time. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Christina, can you please pull up the agenda?
Yes. Last but not least, we have Ms. Tracy Evacoli for the arts and wellness part of the enrichment presentation.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Tracy Evacoli. I'm the Director of Arts and Wellness. And I'm going to be sharing some of the highlights from this school year for our department, and then also a look ahead to next year, Go ahead, Chris. So we're going to do a quick overview of our arts and wellness department's mission, vision, and some of our work from the year. We'll celebrate some big wins from this school year as we had the opportunities to sort of restart our programming after COVID. I'll share some challenges and then some opportunities for moving forward, looking ahead into next school year, and then I'll open it up to any questions for me. So we've been working as a department to really bring ourselves together under one umbrella with a mission, vision, and strategic goals. So our mission provide all students in Hartford schools with access to innovative, relevant, and continuous arts and wellness education, K-12, including numerous opportunities to showcase our students' many unique and important talents, experiences, to prepare them for college and career. And our vision is really to be a model district in the state of Connecticut for K-12 arts and wellness education. And as I continue the presentation, wellness in K-12 education in Hartford Public Schools encompasses physical education and health education. So our goals for this school year were to provide consistent access to standards aligned health education for students in grades 6 through 8. That came out of really a needs assessment from last school year and some of unfortunately tragic events that had happened, really surfacing the need for the implementation of more continuous health education for middle school students. So we were purchased a standards aligned health program called Catch, which was implemented this year in our middle grades. Second goal was really to rebuild our student showcase and performance opportunities across the district and throughout the city to highlight the arts and to enhance the climate and culture throughout our district. And we did this really through planned district and student events at the school level, giving our teachers strategies and our school leaders strategies to really use the arts and wellness areas to strategically boost climate and culture in their school communities. And then lastly, we've been really working hard to increase our fitness test scores to boost up our accountability results on our next generation accountability result report card, which is a data informed strategy that has been really implemented at all levels. And I can go further into that in the next slides. Go ahead, Christina. So this is a little bit about what we do in the arts. So the arts in Hartford schools encompasses music education, visual art education, dance, and theater. In music, the kiddos start out in the elementary grades with exploration of the musical elements. They move into what it means to be able to have access to playing an instrument on their own. And then they move into being able to be part of a group and performing as a team and ensemble work in the middle grades. And then lastly, they'll be able to explore career opportunities and, how they can use the arts in postgraduate work and in their lives moving forward in high school. Same trajectory really happens in all of the arts. I will say obviously that it looks a little bit differently. In visual art, we are really working hard in our high school levels to infuse more technology and emphasis on graphic design, and purchasing with federal funds post-COVID, some brand new digital cameras for our photography courses to really try to stay innovative and give our students access to the best quality education that we have. And lastly, dance and theater. We have an awesome small but mighty dance and theater department. We had our first, and you'll see it on our last slide, our first dance and theater student festival this year, which was a year-long culmination and collaboration of our dance and theater departments, which are mostly in our secondary schools. However, we had an awesome group of students from Sand Elementary School who has their first dance program started at their school this year, join to observe and then also be part of some workshops in the end. So we have some really awesome opportunities for our kids in the arts. Next.
There's a few videos here, right? Would you like me to play about 15 seconds or?
Sure. Why don't you play the one on the lower right-hand corner, the Wish. So Wish has their first drumline this year. And this was an opportunity for them to showcase.
Oh, they started that mistake.
That was the left hand. That's okay. There's right. Oh, we can't hear it.
No?
That's okay. we've had some really awesome experiences created by all of our performing arts teachers and visual arts teachers to really bring their school community back together. And WISH is a prime example of how they've used arts and also wellness. You'll see, I don't know if you follow WISH School on Twitter, but they're always posting motivating videos of their school administration or their PE teacher motivating students to stay active and get ready for their physical fitness test. So a lot of ways that we've used our department to boost the school to then kind of gain more achievement in the academic areas as well. So
I'm sorry, you couldn't hear at all the slide?
No.
The drums? Oh, that's interesting. All right, next slide then.
Sure.
Oh, well. Sorry, I hit next and it hits the next video. So
that's okay.
A little bit of that. Okay, next.
Kinsella. That was
No,
actually
still can't hear.
That was Hartford High. Yeah.
Oh, I can hear them. They sound nice.
Anna says she can hear. I can't hear it for some reason. I don't know
Okay.
why. We will send you the videos if you would like. These are all taken from things that we've posted online and everything too. So wellness, PE and health, we've had an awesome year in PE and health. We've had an influx of, thank goodness for our ESSER funding. We've been able to really replenish and replace and upgrade all of our physical education equipment in K through 12, which has been so great. Our kids have loved to be more active in PE classes. Our physical education and health teachers have had some very engaging and active, fun professional learning sessions that have been standards aligned and just reinvigorating for the school year this year. So what you see on this page is, first of all, on the left-hand side are just some of the strategies and things that we've been working towards, and then some of our goals for leading into next year. We really wanted, obviously, our kids need to move. Our kids really need to stay healthy, to be healthy, and to be active in the school day and beyond the school day. And so we only have so much time in school. So we want to maximize the time in PE class as much as possible. So our goal next year, it was through this year, we dipped our toe into it, but now next year is going to be a big, big strategy, is to get to 50% or more for every class period of moderate to vigorous physical activity for students. So that's really the goal for every kid. No matter what grade level they're in, that's what the goal is for the teacher and for the students to kind of remember that half of my class time, I should be moving pretty quickly. And one of our strategies to do that is called ASAP, active soon as possible. So that's one of the things that we want to try to create a toolbox of strategies for our PE teachers for when, as soon as the kids walk into the classroom, get them moving right away and make it as engaging and relevant as possible so that the students who are in high school want to do it as much as the kids who are in elementary school. And so some of the things that you see on this page are components of engagement that we have selected for our department moving forward that we do think will be engaging, that are evidence-based materials and strategies that we hope will be a more engaging thing for our students to get active. So we've purchased heart rate monitors that we've tested in a few of our schools and our high schools this year. So if you've ever been to like an Orange Theory class or any type of like a fitness class that kind of displays your heart rate on a screen and you have to wear a monitor, that's we will have a set for every school that has grades 6 through 12 next year. So students will be able to see how they are performing in terms of their activity throughout the class period. The teacher will have individualized and class data for every kid in every classroom. It's masked so that students don't have their, their identities shown to their classmates. But it's kind of a cool way to use technology now in physical education for our older students. In the younger grades, you'll see on the page a bunch of giant cups. So we've gotten really far into speed stacks in our elementary and middle grades. We also have them for high school too. It's just a really cool way for students to kind of ease them back into moving a lot. And so students who might not want to be as sweaty and active in PE can ease themselves into more coordination, teamwork, and building with speed stacking. And then there are more accelerated activities that students can do for teachers to kind of motivate students through like increasing their activity through relays and different things that they do with the speed stack. So those are just a few different ways that we are we're working with our physical education teachers. For health, we've got some big moves coming next year. The newest and the most relevant curricular strategies and framework is skills-based health education, which really provides opportunities for students to practice skills such as communication, decision-making, researching accurate information to make healthy decisions for their lives, instead of the kind of older traditional way that we're used to, which is learning about sexual education, learning about drugs and alcohol awareness. So it's more about learning those topics through the skills. So we're going to be doing some revision of our health curriculum. This summer, we're going to a state conference with a team of our teacher leaders in the health department. And so we're really excited about that work moving forward as well. All right, next slide. Sorry, I'm talking a ton. Some of our wellness in action. You can show that. I don't know.
Sorry, did you want me to
hear
speak?
it? Yeah,
Oh,
you can
okay.
play that one. That was Wish
Okay.
Elementary School. Yeah.
Okay.
Today, I am going to be handing out some certificates to students who passed all 4 of the Connecticut Fitness Assessment. My friends, you are all the students in the school between 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade that passed all 4 of the Connecticut Physical Fitness tests.
Let's go.
Good job, guys.
That's awesome.
This one.
So, oh yeah. I don't know if you can hear that one. That was just some breathing work that one of our dance teachers was doing and a wellness activity at Andy Fisher. You can click ahead, Christina.
We need that at work.
So professional learning this year, we had some fantastic, a lot of intense professional learning this school year. We had 9 full department professional learning sessions with all of our unified arts teachers. So that would be all of our arts teachers as well as all of our PE and health teachers. So every year I try to kind of align the year to a theme throughout the school year, which aligns both departments to whatever the district's kind of goals are. And really our theme this year was, well, we had 2. One was, what's our story? What is our story going to be at the end of in the next 5 years? If we're starting this year as year 1 again, after the COVID-19 pandemic, how are we going to sort of tell our story? Where do we want it to go? And so that was starting to kind of align a lot of the work where we were focusing on what are our department core values, what was our mission and vision, where do we want to go for the next 5 years? Our other kind of theme this year was one thing. We have so many different things happening and a lot of work that we have to lift in our district and in our lives. And so every single time I aligned it back to this book and a theory of that everything should just come to one thing. And if you have one thing to focus on, then the rest will fall into place. So those were sort of our aligning themes throughout the school year. So we focused on identifying our department core values, we really focused a lot on relearning some strategies for classroom systems and structures. It was kind of a lot for a lot of our teachers to get back to being in person, full-time, regular school year. So we did a lot of work on just how to remember how to set up your classroom again. What does the first day of school look like? And how do you set up those structures for your classroom and the systems that work, so that because our teachers see all of the students most likely in the school, some of those strategies for efficiency look a little bit differently. So we did a lot of work on structure this year to make sure that classroom management was really at the forefront of what was talked about and strategized in. And then we got into the subject specific learning. So the music teachers did some awesome learning with Music Will, which is a group that does the work in modern rock band. So all of our music teachers are trained now in K through 12 rock band strategies to bring into the general music classroom, as well as into now we have high school courses that are in rock band. We've also equipped all of our music classrooms in those instruments. So that's just an example. So we kind of break off through there. We also had some event planning through multi-schooled or cross-district PLCs or professional learning communities. So you'll see the dance and theater event or festival was one of those culminating or collaborative experiences through our teacher-led PLCs that happened during our professional learning sessions monthly. I hosted 3 new teacher touch points. I like to do this every year. I've been doing this a couple of years in a row so that we have an opportunity for the new teachers in our department and in our district to ask any questions to myself or bring up any problems of practice that they might be having with any of their fellow colleagues. So we had 3 of those throughout the school year. We also were very intentional on getting more input and feedback from our school leaders and also just from our school-based unified arts teams. So myself, along with my new district coach for health and physical education, Kelsey Maxwell, scheduled a lot of kind of really quick 20-minute touch points with all of our schools at various times throughout the school year to just gather input and feedback from them on how to make their programs better and offer support to their schools. Okay, next. So this is a lot. So a lot of the big wins, we have a lot of big wins. So we have, our department encompasses a lot of amazing, awesome, and strong community partnerships throughout our city and throughout Greater Hartford. So the Bushnell, we had some great student and staff events at the Bushnell. Hartford Symphony Orchestra continues to be a very strong partner. We had all of our 3rd graders go to the Bushnell Theater for a culminating experience for their music education class. Everybody remembers how to play the recorder. It's called Link Up. It is a nationally recognized program in big cities with national orchestras. So the Hartford Symphony Orchestra and Hartford Public Schools has had this partnership for a number of years. The students in 3rd grade learn how to play the recorder through this amazing program created by Carnegie Hall. And they get to go to the Bushnell at the end of the school year and play with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra. And so that was an awesome opportunity for our kids. The Wadsworth Athenaeum, we had our 50th anniversary of the Hartford Youth Art Renaissance. You'll see some photos of that fantastic event. Again, we have some just historic, outstanding landmarks in our city that our district is so fortunate to be able to take advantage of and to have partnerships with for our students. University of Hartford offered 2 scholarships to their Hartford Art School to two of our high school portfolio winners from the Hartford Youth Art Renaissance this year. So two of our high school students will be going and to the all expenses paid program at Hartford Art School at University of Hartford this summer. Hartford Performs has been an amazing partner this year. We have some very reformative work coming up with them, which is going to be very beneficial for our district. So they continue to just be fantastic for us. So a lot of other things I will just note, we have some exciting things coming up. Again, you know, we had the Ralph Lyman Baldwin donation come in, which will be used towards the music department, and a number of other wonderful grants and investments coming into the Arts and Wellness Department just to further benefit our students in programming. Next. So these are just a few photos from the Hartford Youth Art Renaissance just a few weeks ago on May 17th, hosted at the Wadsworth Athenaeum. This was, again, the 50th anniversary of this amazing event, which highlights our students. Our students get a gallery space for a month every year in one of the oldest art museums in the entire country. So our students are certainly shining stars for an entire month, but certainly on this one night, we had over 200 family members and students join along with our superintendent and some of you at this wonderful event, acknowledging our students and their talents. So it was fantastic. MAPS is a program that has been going on in our district since 2019. So MAP stands for Music and Poetry Synchronized, and was brought to us from Tom Willits, who is the executive director of MAPS in Massachusetts. And the long and short of MAPS is that they bring together students from rural districts and students from urban districts to come together to make music together, to create a piece of music from poetry, becoming the lyrics, and composition obviously becoming the music of a piece together. And so we have had our programming in our schools has been growing. Obviously, COVID had put a little bit of a damper on that. However, we did a great job this year. Laura Gray was our music teacher, who was kind of our project lead on this. She was the person who started the first program at Naylor School in 2019 and wanted to continue this program because she felt so passionate about bringing students from urban areas together with students in other areas that look nothing like them and in areas that they've never been to. And so the real idea is not only to make music together, but it's also to bring each other together to learn about each other's environments and backgrounds. So we had, this year we had 5 programs going on in our schools. 3 of them were at Great Path Academy, which is where Laura's home school is. Laura hosted one in her music room where she was the music teacher. She joined an ELA teacher at East Hampton High School, who was kind of the poetry side. And then they came together, joined their students in a culminating concert, and they were able to celebrate each other's creation together. Then we also had 2 ELA teachers at Great Path Academy who also were involved in the MAPS project, not on the art side, more on the language arts side. So they were the poetry lead, while East Hampton and Northampton High School were then the music lead. So we took both sides of that partnership with East Hampton High School in Massachusetts. So I thank Laura Gray very much for that, the leadership in that. MLK Middle School. Ron Acosta was the lead music teacher there, had a partnership with a school in Puerto Rico this year. That was all done virtually. It was super cool. We've had a partnership with this school in Puerto Rico for the past 2 school years. Last year it was with Mary Hooker. Unfortunately, their music teacher wasn't able to do that this year, so we were able to offer it to MLK. So that is going to be a continued experience that we're hoping we'll be able to have an in-person experience for the students in the future in both of those locations. And then lastly, we had the first MAPS experience at West Middle Elementary School in the 5th grade, in a 5th grade cohort there with our awesome music teacher, Ruth Bakaitis there. And they had a collaboration with a middle school in Smithfield, Rhode Island. And this was featured actually on NBC Connecticut. And Christina can show you a quick clip if you want to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. I was wondering what that was. Should I?
It was a
Can
well,
I,
the
yeah?
link on there is the click is the link
Okay.
to the show.
I'll send it.
It's in there.
Okay. I was wondering what that was, so I clicked on it.
No,
so.
we've had some very good we've had some wonderful press this year, which has been fantastic for our arts department, particularly. So if you are interested in any of those, please let me know. I keep track of all of that, so it's very exciting. So this was the Dance and Theater Festival on April 6th at Weaver High School. We had 6 of our schools attend. Dr. Negron was there. It was really, really fun. This was during the school day. So this was a student workshop. So we had half of the school day was, again, was performance-based. So students in each of those schools in the dance and theater departments prepared a piece to perform for each other. They were each other's audience. They were amazing audience members. They were extremely just supportive of each other and just cheering each other on. It was just such an awesome day. And then the second half of the day were not teacher-led workshops, excuse me. This was a mistake I have a typo in there. These were actually community organization-led workshops. The next slide will illustrate some teacher-led workshops in a music event that we had. The workshops at the Dance and Theater Festival actually were led by people like the Bushnell. We had a dance teacher from Hartford Performs come and lead dance classes with our students. We had a costuming person from one of our local theaters come. So we really brought in the community to the experience for our students. We actually had somebody do a workshop for students on auditioning and preparing for an audition in a musical theater role. And so the students got to pick and choose which they wanted to learn about and what they wanted to kind of share with others in the performance aspect. So it was just such an awesome day of learning and performing for our kids and for our teachers. Next.
I realize we have 2 minutes left in the meeting, but there's only 2
sorry.
slides left.
I'm sorry.
It's good stuff.
All right, lastly is
There's only 2 slides.
All right, 2 slides left. Good. Pretty much same structure. We had a high school student music festival. Both of these festivals, all of it were teacher created and facilitated. And so I really want to give kudos to all of our music teachers and our dance and theater teachers who really ran the show with both of these. They were both at Weaver High School. So thank you to Weaver High School and Kinsella High School administration for helping us do these. Same thing, our high school music students were able to have some awesome workshops that were led by the teachers across the district. So they got to pick sort of master classes with those teachers who were masters in. We had a guitar teacher. We had a teacher who was great in vocals. We had woodwinds. We had modern band. So that was a really awesome opportunity for students to get together with other students from across the district and have an experience with a Hartford Schools teacher from another school to learn about the content area that they love. So that was really great. And in the end, the Hartford Symphony Orchestra actually brought a brass quintet to play and ask and answer questions for any of our kids. So it was a great day. So lastly, some challenges this year were really rebuilding our programs post-pandemic. So it's always a challenge to start fresh. Staffing challenges continue to be there. Obviously leads to decreased programming in our schools. And we had, outdated equipment and that was not adequate for our kids. It was not acceptable. And so now we have an opportunity. So our opportunity is with our ESSER investments, we're making those to accelerate student experiences, maximize support for our teachers through equipment and instrument upgrades, professional learning and instructional materials. We have an opportunity to reallocate some of our full-time UA positions, not decrease, keep the same amount of positions, but kind of create a more balanced approach so that schools have more equitable programming throughout our district and our students have more varied arts and wellness experiences. And lastly, we are able to enter into sort of a restructuring project with Hartford Performs to develop creative opportunities to provide an expanded menu of services in and beyond our school day in Hartford Public Schools. And I think that's it. Questions for me? That was only a very long time. Sorry, Dr. Negron. We have a lot going on, as you can tell.
I also can't hear you if you're talking, even though you are off of mute.
I put my forward my question to Ms. Santiago.
Okay.
In regards to the questions pertaining to the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. That is time. I don't know. I think there's something wrong with her, Ms. Jarisol Ledger's audio. So I'm going to guess, maybe I text her, that we are just going to adjourn the meeting. And yes, please, board members, send me any questions you have on any of the contracts, any of the presentations at all. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you are. There you are. Okay. Bye.